guys wonder why you guys wonder why I have such a hard time doing this live stream stuff. So my phone decided that it needed to try to update in the middle of the live stream. So I apologize. It just seems to be par for the course for old Sean. That's the live stream. I don't know. That's what.
That's right.
Just par for the course anyway. What I'm trying to say. Trying to get where I can see you guys' comments again. Here we go. Whew. That was stressful real quick.
If you turn that fan on, is that going to be too loud?
It'll be too loud on the back of that. But
Dinah, you're going to have to...
Kevin said, you'll have to take on them big jobs. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, man. With the heat and everything that we've had lately, I don't know that I can take on any big jobs right now because that heat is just wearing me out. I know we lost a bunch of people, but hopefully some people will come back in here. All right, you can go. Dinah has decided that she is done playing. I don't even remember where I was at now when everything fell apart.
We were kind of
but
talking about the canoe and the kayak and stuff, but
Yeah.
Kevin had said that the boys were looking forward to camp.
Oh yeah, well we're definitely looking forward to having the boys at camp again. Yeah, Matt, I'm sorry, buddy. It's just how it is with my live streams, you know.
I think it's a lot
And
of
Taylor.
people.
Taylor's in the house. Hey, buddy. Yeah, it's just the phone decided it needed to update right in the middle of a live stream. That's just how it goes. Kevin's, I've had the flu working in a bucket truck all week in Cedar Key. Man,
Yuck.
that's rough. When I used to work for the power company, like I said, I don't do the stomach bug thing, and
Do any sickness.
well, that really, but the stomach bug thing especially.
Yeah.
And I had a foreman that told me, just come in, and if you don't feel good, you can stay in the truck, and if you start feeling better, you can get out of the truck. And no, thank you. No, thank you. If I've got to be sick and throw up and all that stuff, I'm gonna do it in the comfort of my own home, and I'm not gonna do it. I just refuse to do it. But yeah. So we were
That
talking
was
about.
Pre the C word days.
Yeah, that was pre-Rona days.
Yeah.
Now you get sick, they stay
Yeah.
away. But yeah, like I said, I don't necessarily need another, canoe or whatever. My kayak works for what I need it for. I just kind of wanted something different. And we have a trip planned coming up, and it should be a really good trip, a lot of fun. And I kind of wanted to have new canoe for that trip, but if it doesn't work out, it's perfectly fine. I'll be fine with what I got. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but in that video, Ken had that, I think it's called a Winona canoe. It's a solo canoe, but that thing is sweet. It doesn't weigh hardly anything, and it's super narrow at the top. The gunnels are really narrow, and so you can, do a double blade paddle really easily with it, or you can single blade it. But that thing is, that's what I would love to have, because the one that I'm looking at, it's still kind of like more of a canoe, so it's a little wider. So double blading is a little more difficult with that one, but it would still be fine. But yeah, I don't necessarily have to have it, but it's something that I would like to have. And one of these days, we'll end up with one. Let's see, Matt said. Um, you see, Sean, you believe a canoe is carrying a lot. I just went out and bought a pontoon boat so I could have my own barge. So me and Matt are kind of tossing around some ideas for a trip too in the fall that would be really cool if we can get that done. And that's going to be a lot of, if we can do it, that would be a lot of fun because we will be able to use his pontoon boat, and that would afford a lot more opportunity to be able to haul stuff and all that stuff. So that would be a lot of fun. Let's see. Matt said, "Heck yeah." I would definitely like to do that. So that's something that we need to try to get the planning and get together and sit down and talk some stuff out and see how we get that going. Kevin said, "Sold my John boat. Been thinking about getting another, but something I can put one of the boys in with me." Yeah, that's for the boys, you really need a John boat or something like that. You could do a double canoe, but I would wait until the boys get a little bigger for a double canoe, or you might be swimming. But also, right now is a good time to teach them. So I don't know. I might be wrong with that. So, and I've been giving some thought to trying to put together maybe a couple little classes that's more geared towards the kids, like a weekend parent kids trip where we could kind of get together and teach skills to the kids and things like that. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know, because I definitely love working with the kids and talking with the kids and teaching them, but it would definitely be a parent-child kind of thing. Because I don't want to have to deal with like liability and me trying to keep up with all the kids and everything. So, but I definitely would like to take them out there and, I'll teach them how to build the fire and you teach them when to build the fire. That's what I always tell my nephews and nieces when they bring their kids over. Like, I'll teach them how to do it. You teach them when it's appropriate. But yeah. That would be kind of fun, though. I would like to do some little stuff like that, teaching some of the kids. Matt said those larger John boats with the surface drive motors for shallow water are sweet. Yep, we made it back. Tony, it was my phone tried to update in the middle of the live stream. So when I did that trip, I think it was on the Withlacoochee River down there. All those boats with the mud motors came by, and whoever is selling those boats down there is making a fortune because there must have been 20 or 30 of those boats going by, and they all seem to be young 20-something guys running those boats. I don't know how in the world those guys are actually affording that, but there was a bunch of them out there. Let's see, Carl Smith, I see you, buddy. He said, hello, just woke up from a nap. Hey, you actually missed me dropping the live stream, so you really didn't miss a whole lot. Kimberly Chip said, I would go to your neck of the woods for that. Well,
wait till it gets cooler.
Yeah, we'll kind of wait until maybe fall or something when it's a little more manageable heat. Good evening from South Florida, DCL. And Random Adventure says, say the name of that river 3 times quickly. It's the Withlacoochee River. So, Tony said that when he came down for HangCon, that he had been hoping to see some gators. Well, I just posted a short about Payne's Prairie. And the next time you come down, Tony, give me a little time and we'll go out there and see some gators. Right now, the water is low, and there is tons of big gators out there. I stood on the boardwalk right off of 441 at the Payne's Prairie Lookout, and there's some 8 and 10 foot gators just right there. I mean, there's some big gators out there, and tons of birds right now. Um, let's see. Matt said they can afford it because they're all still living with their parents. That might be true. I don't know. I don't know what those guys got going on, but whatever it is, they're buying the toys.
Kevin said line work.
Oh yeah, that's how they're affording those toys. Yeah, probably so. Hype Mike said, I love the Withlacoochee River. It's right down the road from him. Tony said, awesome. I will be down in January. Definitely looking forward to seeing the Gators there. So we'll plan on it. If you're going to come in January, we'll plan to go find you some Gators. I know several spots where we can definitely see some Gators. But yeah, that right down there now, it's just the water is really low on Paynes Prairie right now, and those gators are just out there kind of in the edge of the water and in the mud. There's a lot.
You go to that, what is it, the Sweetwater Preserve?
Yeah, Sweetwater Wetlands Preserve. That's another one.
You just walking and...
So, let me tell you about this. I'll tell you how crazy this one is. So we were out there once upon a time. You may not believe this, but once upon a time, I was actually exercising to lose weight, and we would go to Sweetwater Wetlands Preserve because if you made, it was 2 or 3 trips around it. I can't remember. It was like 5 miles or
yeah. They had like if you did half or whole. It was...
Yeah, there's a lot of hiking around there, and there's a ton of ponds and swamps and marsh area, and we happened to be out there when the gators were, it was mating time, and you could hear them like from different ponds growling and or that sound that they make and all that stuff, bellowing. And this one calls me. I was on the other side because she hikes twice as fast as me, and well, partly because I want to stop and take a picture and get a clip of everything. She called me and said, hey, there's these 2 big alligators on the road, or on either side of the road, and they're kind of going back and forth at each other. And she said, you should come around here and look at it. And I was like, okay, well, stay where you're at, and I'll come around there. And then I start walking up the trail, and here she comes and meets me up the trail. And I said, how did you get past the gators? Just walked right past the gators.
It didn't move.
It didn't move.
It didn't move.
It's gator mating season.
Well, I was watching it,
and she just
started to move.
She just stared them down and walked right through there.
It was laying on its belly. If it had started to get up, I would have backed up.
Yeah, they would have been. She'd have plenty of time. But yeah, so this one can, like, I try to be adventurous. She's the one that's actually probably more adventurous than me. I did see that some of the comments were going.
Lake Alice. That's a good place.
Yeah, Lake Alice is a good place to see alligators. Also, that Sweetwater Wetlands Preserve, if you go there early in the morning, like 7:30ish, right when it opens, a lot of times you can see the wild horses walking through because they'll walk through the park right there. Me and Sarah actually saw one in there one time. She was foaling and she was having a hard time, and me being a farrier, I want to help the horses, and so I actually told one of the rangers that she was foaling, and they're like, we won't do anything about it. They're wild horses. We won't intervene. But the stallion would let us get close enough to look at her, but it kept putting itself between us and her, and it was pretty crazy. But yeah, they're wild horses.
I might find any culvert.
Yeah, literally any culvert. Gators love hiding in the culverts. There's a joke that goes around that if the water is wet, there's probably a gator in it.
Or like in the land remembered.
Yeah, yeah. And if you leave your bathtub or leave your door open long enough, there might be a gator in the bathtub. Matt said if we get to do that trip down the Kissimmee River in the fall, you're going to see some massive gators. Yeah, there's some massive gators on the Withlacoochee too. That 3 days of solitude video, I think it was that I did. There was this big gator. He was at least as big as the kayak, and that kayak's 12 foot. And he kept like out on the way up the river to the site. He like got out in the middle of the river and waited, and I had to back paddle and try to give him some room. And finally, he moved over and let me pass. And then on the way back out, he did the same thing. He was just all blowed up in the water there, like challenging me. You know, I mean, there's some big gators out there too. That thing was big. I think those people must be feeding him off of the back of that dock though at that house. Hike Mike said Mayaca State Park has lots of huge gators. Matt Barton said the gator growl. That's what it is, the gator growl.
I wouldn't want to be down there with them students.
Ed Chaos said take Tony on a midnight paddle on Noonan's Lake. I got a little story about Noonan's Lake too. I'll tell you in a second. I Do Adventures. Hey buddy, how you doing? South Florida said that's one of the reasons why we left upstate New York in '97. Their gun laws were out of control. I must have missed something.
Yeah. Well, and Chaos said New York is impossible to afford, so they left New York too.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people say that they're coming to Florida for tax reasons and things like that. There's a lot of people though that used to live in Florida that moved away, and now they're like, oh, we miss Florida and we want to come back, and that doesn't make any sense to me because it's 6:30 in the morning, it's 80 degrees and 65% humidity, and you walk outside and put your shoes on and you're immediately sweating. So I don't get it, but I know everybody has their own preferences, but I know I'm about over it. Hype Mike said there is a video of wild horses on Payne's Prairie stomping on a gator. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That stallion jumped up and stomped on that gator, and people don't give those stallions enough credit. Those things will kill you if you're not careful. And people always try to get out there and get close to the horses and take pictures with them. And there's bison on the prairie, and same thing. You get close to those things, they are wild animals. They will kill you. Let's see. Hype Mike said no. I'm sorry. Kevin said I'm gonna try Lake the Ocean Trail in January. So a couple of our buddies in Florida from Florida Bushcraft did that last spring, I think, and they loved it. They said it was a really nice trail. So I would like to do that, but that's something that I'd have to kind of train for. Carl said not an alligator, but I had a 5-foot bull shark circling my kayak Saturday. Whew. That's another thing. So I'm a freshwater Florida boy. I'm not really I'm more comfortable with the gators than I am with sharks, and I don't really like the sharks thing. Nick said, "Can I get a shout out, bro?" Hey Nick, how you doing? Let's see. Matt Barwick said, "I tell people the same thing about my bulldog. She looks tame, but she will hurt you." My outside dog, Mick, he, is the most timid dog. He's the lowest dog on the totem pole around here. He's the lowest animal around here. That dog was scared of the chickens. He's scared of the cats. But when somebody comes up he doesn't know, I've caught him, he's a red heeler Catahoula mix. I caught him a couple times about ready to catch the Amazon driver. And then the other thing is he kind of worries me around kids because he's never really been around little kids that much, and he growls. So when my granddaughter comes over or we have any little kids come over, I make sure he's locked out in the front yard and make sure the kids know not to go by the fence, because if if he did do something, I would have to take desperate measures, and I don't want to do that. But he's timid. He's scared of everything. He loves to be petted and played with. Matter of fact, he'll get so excited most of the time, if you're not careful, he'll pee on your feet. But if it's somebody he doesn't know, or a kid, that's the thing that worries me. He doesn't really like little kids. But I also, when I'm not here, I do like the fact that he's on the porch. So if somebody came up here and Sarah was here by herself, he would get somebody. I know he would.
Well, it's funny, when you're here, he won't stay with me or anything. But when you're gone, and if I walk down the driveway, he stays right next to me.
Yeah. So, oh, Quentin. Hey, buddy, I ain't seen Quentin in a long time. It's good to see you, man. I'm glad you stopped in. He said, just got done mowing. Had to do yard work. Hope we're doing well. We're doing really well. I hope you guys are too. I know it's been hot up your way too.
Oh, thank you, Tori. I'll definitely use some help.
Oh, Tori, yeah. Tori was a huge help for last wild camp, and Sarah's actually mentioned her to me a couple times this time, hoping that she'd be able to help her out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely would love to have Tori be able to help Sarah. So
I appreciate someone that I can rely on helping and not just be aggravating.
In the way.
In the way, no. Tori was not in the way.
She's talking about me. That's why Sarah did all the making sure she checked everybody in and all that stuff, because she wanted it done correctly. Because I'm the kind of guy to be like, oh, you like that? Here, take 2 more. And she had everything just the right amount for people. And let's see.
Mike. No. Tony.
Random Adventure said, hey, everyone. I got to run. I've got to get a few things done before it gets too late. Have a great night. We'll see y'all later. Appreciate you taking some time, Tony, and just hanging out with us, buddy. I really appreciate it. I know you're busy, and if you guys have ever camped with Tony, you know that if he's not filming, he's probably editing. So to have a few minutes to just sit here and hang out with us, I really appreciate it. So Carl said, any updates on Wild Camp? So we talked about that a little bit earlier. We are still dealing or kind of getting everything together, but we will have an update coming really soon.
And that'll be kind of starting with regular updates.
Yeah, when we get started with the updates here, we're going to be starting the regular updates, leading up to Wild Camp. One of the things that I kind of didn't want to do is like a whole year of updates and just be bombarding you constantly with Wild Camp stuff. Kind of want to keep it on the back of your mind, but I don't want you to feel like you're just getting hammered with it all the time.
Well, and last year we started about now, but the camp was in October, and now we've got a couple more months until we start. So the closer it gets, the more we'll be updating.
Right. So we will be starting.
We don't want you to be annoying.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to be annoying. That's the last thing I want, is to just be spamming you guys with Wild Camp stuff, because that's not what we want to do at all. We want you guys to be excited about it. We don't want you guys to be dreading that the next thing I say is going to be about Wild Camp again. So,
however much she can help will be great.
Yeah, that'll be fine. We appreciate any help she can give us. But so let's see, July 4th is when we plan to release tickets for the
general.
July 4th was for the Wild Bunch, right?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I believe July 4th was for the just tickets for the Wild Bunch, and then
I'll have to go back.
I'll have to look. May, I think, is when we're gonna open it up for general admission for everyone. No, whatever comes after July, June, July, August, something like that. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long day. We'll have accurate information coming soon. I'm sorry. It really has been a rough couple days, and Um, we've had, a lot of stressful stuff going on. My Jeep was broke down, it took me a couple days to get that fixed, and that was stressful. And then issues with the pump, and it's just been
Had
stressful few days.
multiple events at
Yeah.
work,
Yeah, and Sarah's the event coordinator at her work,
amongst
amongst
things.
other things, and so she's had several different events going on. So it's been a very, very busy, like stressful few days, or last week at least. So yeah, I apologize. Really don't have all my stuff together tonight, but
And Christy and Carl help.
yeah, we really appreciate that. So um, and I think we're gonna have to try to figure out how to get some firewood delivered for Wild Camp. So that's something that we'll be kind of working on in the future coming up there. And if you guys didn't see the live stream that we did about Wild Camp, where we posted we had the pictures and stuff, you guys should go back and look at that, because Wild Camp this year is gonna be a really nice location.
Yeah.
Make sure if you have a kayak or a canoe or something like that, bring it, because we're gonna actually do some paddling this time. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And it
So
should not be hot.
it should not be hot. It'll be early December. Fingers crossed it won't be hot anyway. You know how
Right.
Florida is. Matt said, "Hang in there, guys." I appreciate it, buddy. We're definitely hanging in there. We're doing good, but it's been one of those weeks. We all have them. But
And we're getting old.
yeah, and it's just,
Some older than others.
hey, watch it. We're getting old. It's
Oh.
not just me.
I don't even want to hear about hurricane season.
Yeah, we definitely are getting ready for hurricane season. I follow that guy on Facebook. Of course I can't remember his name, Mike's Weather Page on Facebook, and most of the time he is far more accurate than any of the other weather stuff, and it's looks like it might be kind of active. I know Kevin's ready. He's ready for that money, that hurricane money, storm money. Hey, if you get good storm money, you could buy a fellow kayak
we
or
could have
a canoe.
another sponsor for
Yeah,
Wild Camp.
yeah, you could sponsor Wild Camp with a Rewild Outdoors canoe, Kevin. That would be awesome. I'll put your name on it. This would be the Kevin special. That's something that I'm kind of tossed up about too. Hey, Donald Mike Gideon.
Matt said that's why you got that big old mason jar.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But that's the other thing that I'm kind of tossed up about is, so my kayak is Solitude. So I've got to try to figure out, if I do get another boat or another kayak canoe, I've got to name that thing, but I kind of want to keep the Solitude kind of theme, because that was the whole point, is I wanted this thing where I could kind of get out and get away from everything, and so I kind of have to figure out what we could do.
Tranquility or something in the same
I can't remember your dad's. I can't remember what his is. Serenity.
Serenity.
But I was thinking like Solitude and put the number 2 in there.
Yeah.
So it would be like Solitude 2 almost, but
With the 2 and yeah.
so maybe that might work. Ed said the Amazon delivery service provider for Archer, Bronson, Williston, parts of Gainesville was forced to close its doors.
But we have an Amazon warehouse right down the street.
Yeah, right here in Gainesville, not far from us, we have a actual hub right here.
But they do have a bunch of like contractors. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kevin said we're gonna try something this year.
I'll have something for the raffle.
That
Yeah,
would
'cause
be
they
cool.
bought
Appreciate it.
about 500 tickets last year.
Yeah, that's right. I don't, it's so hard sometimes when you're raffling stuff to feel like like, how do you raffle the stuff off and not end up with a few people winning all the prizes?
That's just the way
And
it
it's
happens.
I know it's just the way it goes sometimes, but it's so hard because it can be very frustrating seeing the same people get up every time.
Maybe we could just
but-
get like a participation trophy for everybody.
Yeah, everybody would get a participation trophy. Squint said, I'd like to make it down that way soon. You're only a couple of hours. Yeah. Climbing ladder in the maintenance department, they keep him busy. And the place falls apart on my days off. Yeah, I
And then you got to come back and clean it up.
come back and clean the mess up. Luckily, I'm a one-man show, so I just let it fall apart all the time. Matt said, no, he's out of shine.
You got fire in there, don't you?
This is was it Jim Beam Fire? Yeah, this is Jim Beam Fire. No, it's not my Evan Williams.
It's my new favorite.
Yeah, Sarah's really enjoying the Jim Beam Fire now. I do like the cinnamon whiskey too. It's nice for a change. Don't make it. Don't be drowning me. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Freddie. Oh, hey, buddy. How you doing?
South
Good to see you.
Carolina.
South Carolina. Ed said, I know that's where my wife works, but Saturday is her
wow.
last day. Oh,
Interesting.
yeah. You just never know. It's funny how they'll build these things, these warehouses and stuff, and then
Well, they've even got all that space across the
Yeah,
street.
across the
that
street,
They
they-
must lease or something.
yeah,
I guess they got too big for their britches.
yeah. I mean, sometimes that happens. I can understand it, but you'll see them like hiring like crazy one week.
They don't start till what, 10 o'clock?
9 or 10 in the morning or something like that's when they start, I think. But
I say that like I know. I just heard that through you who got
Yeah.
it through that. Doesn't your customer clean the parking lot?
yeah, one of my customers actually cleans the parking lot.
Yes, Gators, no Seminoles.
Yes, we are Gator fans.
Even
Actually, I'm not even a sports
would
guy
say-
anymore, hardly.
passive Gator fans.
Yeah,
I'm a Gator fan because if I was a Seminole fan, my father would disown me.
Gator fan by association.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, I am a Gator fan. I just don't.
Oh,
I don't
like
watch sports much anymore. The problem, like, when all the kneeling started, and I don't want to get political and all that stuff on here, but when all that stuff started, it ruined it for me. I refuse to go through it
I
anymore.
don't. Well, but it's like Florida. Every time something starts going bad, they get a new coach, and it's just like at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to, like, I'll put it to you this way. I tried to be a Jacksonville Jaguars fan when they first started, and I did that for like 4 or 5 years, and I was like, okay, I don't know how the Dallas Cowboys fans stick it out. They're heartbroken every year just about.
I like
But-
that doing the boat for peace in Latin.
What is it?
Pax.
Pax, peace in Latin.
I
That's kind
assume
of a
that's
neat.
how you pronounce it. I should know. I took Latin, but that was a long time
I know
ago.
Pig Latin. I can speak Pig Latin.
That's so not the same thing.
That's okay. Nobody's perfect. Yeah, I understand.
Cinnamon whiskey. You make my rum and Sprite sound early. Yeah, I can do straight shot of cinnamon whiskey.
Yes. So when I make the mixed drinks, I'll put 2 shots in mine and 2 shots in hers, and then we both get a regular shot. And so a
On
mixed drink ends up being
days
3
like
shots.
today.
Yeah, on days like today.
Florida Panthers are 2 games away from a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I don't watch any of that stuff either. The
Is that
hockey.
Oh, well, that's like friends at work. They follow hockey, and they're always giving us free hockey tickets. Like we live in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I don't really do sports that much. When I was growing up, now you might not believe this. because Sean's a short little fat guy. But when I was growing up, I used to be pretty good at basketball, and I was a forward, and I was actually pretty good at basketball when I was a little kid. But then I grew up and got fat and slow, and I can still shoot a ball though. I just can't run down the court. And Chaos said, "Oh, Florida Panthers." Okay. Type brand canoe you prefer? I like the Old Town canoes, but that Winona canoe that Ken had was really nice. I really like that one, but I'm not like a brand snob, really, because I haven't had a lot of canoes. So I'm not like really versed in the canoes to be able to have a really educated opinion. I know that the Old Town canoes aren't the highest quality and they're not the lightest, but for what I do, that would be fine because I'm not doing a lot of portaging or anything around here. Now, if I was going to be up in Canada or something like that, then yeah, I would want probably a Swift or something that's, super, super light. But if it's 45, 50 pounds, that's still 20 pounds lighter, 25, almost 30 pounds lighter than my kayak. And that would make it a whole lot easier to load and unload off of the top of the vehicle. So that's really more what I'm looking for. But what I really want is the capacity, the load capacity to be able to haul some more gear, because I don't want to feel like I'm always having to go ultra light when I'm canoe camping or kayak camping. That's kind of takes some of the fun out of it. Let's see.
Don might get in.
So, Freddie Moss said, I always think of hockey as a northern sport. Yeah, that's kind of me too. It's hard for me to believe that we have enough ice here to be able to skate. But Matt Barwick said, I still don't understand hockey being a Florida guy, but watching it isn't bad because it's
cold
in the arena.
Oh,
Well, there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. Should get some tickets from work.
Yeah. Don Mike Gideon said, I only run from women and the police. I do like that mixed drink mason jar.
We should see about getting some like Rewild Outdoors mason jars somehow.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know how you go about doing that kind of thing, but that would be neat.
We'll figure it out.
Freddie Moss said, not to get too political, but y'all in Florida have a great governor. Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty happy with him, but like I said, I don't really do a whole lot of the political stuff on the channel. But Carl said my kayak supposedly has 650-pound capacity. That's a nice kayak that Carl's got. That's probably well out of my price range. So, Master Disaster said baseball. I grew up watching baseball with my pop and softball. And I am a Braves fan. I don't really watch baseball or anything anymore since, Pop passed away. We don't have any, like, actual channels or anything, though. We don't have cable or anything anymore. So I don't really watch any, like, TV at all. We watch everything, like, streaming stuff, YouTube and movies and things like that. So we really don't watch any kind of live TV or anything. So I don't really get to watch that. But when Pop was alive, we had
all the things,
all the sports packages, because Pop was a huge Braves fan, but Pop would watch any kind of sports. Mm-hmm. He loved baseball. He loved softball. He loved Gators softball, girls softball. He liked volleyball.
For certain reasons.
Yeah, Pop liked the volleyball. But yeah, the only thing Pop wouldn't watch was soccer. He wouldn't watch soccer. He didn't care for soccer at all. But Pop's one of the only people that I ever seen actually sit down and really watch golf on TV. Like that is a tough one for me. That's like watching fishing on TV.
He liked though all of the intricacies of it.
Yeah.
Y'all went to that softball game and he was like the announcer, wasn't like all the people that were sitting close to y'all listened to him talk about the stats and stuff.
Because Pop knew all of the stats, especially for the softball stuff. He knew all of that stuff, and he knew who was, you know, playing which position and her stats, and you know how much longer she had at the school and when they were gonna. I mean, he was really into that stuff, but. I really kind of wish sometimes I was more into that stuff because Pop was, but I don't know. I just didn't really get that bug. Ed Chaos said Seminoles got the shaft last Friday, or last year, Freddie. I don't really watch this, know anything about the Seminoles because they're criminals. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here we go. Shots fired. No. Don Mike Gideon said rewild mason jars would be sweet.
I'll have to look into that.
That would be kind of cool. We'll have to look into that. Let's see. Don Mike Gideon said, "Yay Braves." Somewhere I've got a Braves hat that we got when we went on vacation in Atlanta one time. And I got me a Braves hat. I hadn't had one since I was a teenager. That was a long time ago. But and I still, it just seems like it's been a long time.
10 years.
Yep, 10 or 20 years. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Yeah, Don Mike Gideon said he hasn't watched anything in years.
I did not know that we had a hockey team.
The Gators have a hockey team?
Where do they practice?
That's crazy. Yeah, Freddie, I shoe and trim horses. I do more trims than shoes. That's just kind of how it is. But yeah, I'm a farrier by trade. I trim and shoe horses. Yeah, I had no idea that the Gators had a hockey team. They should free out there and
yeah. How much would that cost?
Is in Orlando.
Jeez.
That seems.
I would think probably in Jacksonville would make more sense, but
yeah, I don't know. That
when would people do things that make sense?
They you know, efficient.
Have you ever had a horse go bad on you? You've been kicked a few times.
Yeah, I've had a couple bad ones, but I don't play with bad horses anymore. When I first started, and I was hungry, I wanted anybody that had a horse, I would work on it. I'd wrestle donkeys, whatever I had to do. I don't play that game anymore because you take one bad kick and it can put you out of work for 6-8 weeks or worse. You know, or worse. We had a guy around here that got kicked in the head, and he ended up having to retire. And I mean, it was a bad deal. I've taken a bad kick a couple times.
No, you had that time you were bruised your whole side.
Yeah, I had one kick me one time, and it was actually, I was very lucky. That horse kicked me twice in a couple seconds. But what it did was she snatched her foot, and when she kicked me the first time, she kicked me in the thigh. And when she kicked me in the thigh, it pushed me forward. And then the second kick got me right here in the ribs. And that was one of the worst pains. That was rough. But I always think about the fact that if she'd have kicked me in the back of the knee instead of in the thigh, I would have buckled and went down. And then when she kicked me, she likely would have kicked me in the head. And I don't know how much damage that would have done because it would have probably been hard to tell brain-wise. But it definitely wouldn't have been good. I don't play with bad horses anymore. you can't take that chance. They'll kill you in a heartbeat on accident. They're a lot of the ones that I worry about is when somebody calls me and says, "Oh yeah, I've got this horse. She's kind of like a dog." That lets you know right there, this dog or this horse is spoiled, and it probably isn't trained very well. Don Mike Gideon said, "Awesome. I did not know you're a farrier." Yep, that's what I do for a living. I need to get my blacksmithing stuff out and do some blacksmithing videos. That would be kind of cool, and that'd kind of tie into the channel a little bit. I might do some like bonus videos on it or something. Maybe I'll get out there and build a knife or something. Matt said we supply the equipment to make ice for a lot of temporary hockey rinks. You can have hockey rink just about anywhere. Well, that's pretty interesting. I know that they do like at Christmas time, and a lot of times they'll do that around in some places, set up hockey rinks and stuff. Kimberly Chip said, "That's badass. I live in Tennessee and appreciate your field of work." I appreciate that. I do love doing it, but it's definitely it has its drawbacks. You know, it's people don't respect your time, and that's something that's very frustrating. People will wait till the last minute and call you and reschedule, which doesn't seem like a big deal. But if somebody with 5 horses calls and reschedules at the last minute, that's 5 horses that I can't replace in the course of the day. And then, that might be $200.
And if they had it canceled earlier, you could have had scheduled someone else in that time.
Yeah, and people, it's kind of tough sometimes. It can be very frustrating.
I have no idea. I hate the ones that you'll go out there to do 5 horses, and you'll get there and they'll be like, "Oh, I only want to do 2."
Yeah.
And you've allotted.
Yeah, that's very
X amount of
frustrating
time,
too.
But people don't think about it.
I don't just necessarily budget my day as far as time, but I know how much I'm going to, basically I can plan out how much I'm going to make today. And then when you get, somebody, you get out there and all of a sudden they only want to do 2 out of their 5 for whatever reason. It's just, I don't know, that's kind of complainy, but it's just,
it's fine, but just let you know ahead of time.
Yeah, if they just let you know ahead of time. So, being a one-man show, it makes it kind of tough because, like, if we go on vacation, Sarah takes, paid time off or whatever. But when I go on vacation, that's just, I'm not getting paid. And I either have to work those horses ahead if I can, or I have to come back and be behind. And I'll tell you, people would much rather wait and let you do them later than to do them early. That's just how people are. And that makes it kind of tough. Let's see. Yeah, Ed Chaos said, "I'm surprised you don't have another channel just for the horse stuff." It's funny because people are funny about their horses. And people's horses are a lot like their kids. And they get very protective of them. So I actually don't take a lot of pictures of the horses that I'm working on and stuff like that, specifically for that reason. Because it can kind of cause problems. And with it being my business, I'm not trying to do that. So, plus it would be very repetitive unless I was just doing it every now and then when I would get a very interesting new case or whatever, new horse, and then that would make it kind of sporadic. And from learning what I learned with YouTube really doesn't like channels that are sporadic like that. So it's there's a whole lot to it. Let's see. Ed Chaos. Squintin' Quentin said, "Had a cow kick me once, ran right by me, and clipped me in the thigh. Scared the crap out of me. It hurt later, but not in the moment. When that horse kicked me in the ribs, it hurt immediately. It knocked the wind out of me, and it like bruised my ribs. But I had an accident when I was working for the power company. I actually got hit with the bucket of a backhoe, and it knocked all the muscles loose from my ribs around this side. And so I have one rib in the bottom here that will move sometimes. Like if I sneeze or cough sometimes, that rib will move and it'll make you sick on your stomach. And so when that horse kicked me, that rib, it hurt that rib. And so it's kind of a, that junk hurt immediately. Carl said, good night, everyone. Hope y'all have a great weekend. Appreciate you stopping in, Carl.
Freddie asked for a collaboration with you and Tony.
So, if you haven't watched it, Freddie, me and Tony did a video together up in New York. It was not New York. Hello, Mr. Mixed Drink. It was in North Carolina. But that was a pretty fun video. We actually didn't plan it to be a collab. It just kind of worked out that way, and it was cool. So if you haven't watched that one, watch that one. But I would love to get up there closer to Tony and do some videos up his way too in Pennsylvania up there. That would be a lot of fun. Oh, I see Miss Deborah.
Hi, Miss Deborah.
Hey, Miss Deborah. And oh my goodness. Kevin said, I fell from the bucket to the dirt not too long ago. Don't feel good. Man, that's dangerous, man. I saw a guy on a storm we were working on, fall off a pole, and I think it was like a 35-foot pole, fell off the pole and landed across the top of a wooden privacy fence.
Ooh.
Broke the fence down. It messed him up pretty bad. That was rough. Luckily it didn't skewer him. It just kind of broke him up. But Master of Disaster said blacksmithing video series would be cool. Well, I might do that. I might try to set something up and do some blacksmithing videos. That would be kind of cool.
What's that other channel you have for that?
Oh, I've got another channel called Fixing Things with Sean. I've only got 2 videos up on there. But yeah, it was basically, the reason I did that one was because Sarah's got a Ford Escape car or SUV, and it had a problem where the windshield wipers would just randomly come on and they would stay on. And I could not, there was no YouTube videos on it at all. Nobody had any videos on it. And I couldn't figure out how to fix it. And I was going through forums. And I found just a little blurb in a forum that said to check the corrosion on the battery terminal, because those cars, they have some sort of little thing on the terminal. And I went and looked at it, and sure enough, her car had that. And so I made a video on replacing that thing, and it really helped a lot of people. So that's been pretty cool. But yeah, I don't really post a lot of videos on there. But let's see. But yeah, so I would like to do some blacksmithing videos. It's kind of hot right now to do blacksmithing videos. Mm-hmm. Shoot, I could probably just set the metal out in the sun and not have to even use the forge. But I've got a propane forge and all that stuff. I actually have an anvil I have to go pick up from one of my customers. She gave me a really nice anvil. So Miss Deborah said, your hair is looking fabulous. And I have to agree. It looks fabulous.
This is like end of the day.
This is her end of the day.
Yeah.
Look.
They tease me at work because they can tell how stressed I am by how flipped over it is. Because I do this all the time. So if it's really flipped over, that means leave me alone.
Kevin said, me and your husband keep missing camp outs. Well, it's been a sickly year for me. I'm skipping out on this weekend. It must be. Are you talking to Miss Deborah?
I think so.
Okay. Um, but yeah, it's um, it would be kind of cool to do that. I have a hard enough time trying to keep up with videos for this channel, and especially this time of year with it being hot and everything. I don't want to make videos um, just to. I thought that thing was plugged in over here, but hang on a second. Give me just a second, guys. Sorry. Oh,
Did you squish Maddie?
I think I squished Maddie. Give me just a second. All right. But yeah, so I don't want to make videos just to make a video for you. I kind of decided that earlier this year, or the beginning of the year, that I don't want to make videos just for the sake of having something to put out there. I want to make a video that's going to be a good video for you guys. So that makes it kind of tough when it gets hot like this. And I've still got some stuff that I'm going to be doing coming up, but it's just kind of that. It's just that time of year. It makes it a little tougher. But we do have a cool trip planned coming up in July. That one will be a lot of fun, and I still want to do. I want to go north and do some other videos up north before it gets to fall. So, whoop, there's Maddie gone again. So maybe we can get a road trip or something in coming up. I don't know. We'll have to see. But how long have we been on for the second time here? It's been a while, right?
Yes.
Almost an hour. All right, guys. So I think we're gonna just about call it for the night. Oh yeah. We got a new canvas tent. Looks pretty awesome. And what did he say? It's broke in finally, ready to go. That's cool. That thing is huge too. It looks nice. But yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and call it for this evening. I appreciate you guys hanging out. And if you haven't already, hit that like button for me. We don't really get a whole lot of traction from these live streams and stuff like that, but that's okay. These really are kind of just for us anyway. The regulars. So I appreciate all you guys watching the videos, and I appreciate my beautiful wife for coming to hang out with us tonight. And hopefully, if everything goes right, I'll have a cool video for you next week. So appreciate you watching. We'll see you next week. How do I stop? Come on.